Bloody Baron here. Going to show you a tool I'm working on to retrieve information out of the World of Tanks databases, useful for clan officers and players interested in stats and battle things. Got a simple player lookup. Type as much as the name as you can remember. It'll pull in the matches, show you the date that their account was created, total battles, total wins, win rate overall. If they're in a clan, you can see that, and their position and when they join the clan. Get a list of the players' tanks that they've played. This guy's had 95 tanks. They're not necessarily all still in his garage. In the future, a check mark will show up next to those that are. It's sorted right now by tier. You can sort it by battle, most battles. He's played the most battles in a Matilda, tier 4. Sort it by win rate, and so on. You get the idea there. And we'll reset the sort and look up one more. This guy got incredibly awful stats. Over 19,000 battles with only a 47.6 win rate. Look at his tanks. And several 10s. Pretty low win rate in all of them. Most battles have been played in a KV-1S. And if we sort it by tier, we can see the most tier 10 battles have been played in an IS-7. So that's a quick rundown. Now, the first search we did went away. If you click the save, then it'll retain that in future searches. So let me look at Boomer again. There he is. We're going to save him too. And so now, even if I close this and come back in, those guys are saved, and I can flip back and forth through their tanks. As they acquire new tanks or add more battles, those stats will update with each lookup. So that's how the player lookup. The clan info works in a similar manner. I'll type the clan that I'm in, which is Orem. I'm going to save that. Erase that to remove the one I'm not interested in. Orem's clan name is Team Orange Red. There's 86 members. Titan 71 is currently the commander. Click on members and it'll retrieve a roster, show you all of the officers, treasurer, recruiter, soldiers, and all down. Now you'll note that there's a little bit of information on this top tier info column, but it's only showing for Boomer and the Bloody Baron, because those are the only two players that we've actually done a tank inventory on. I'll look at all clan tanks. Shows you all of the tanks owned by the players that we've looked up. So right now it's limited to just Bloody Baron and Boomer. So let's go back and pull in one more. We got Hot Seat. He's got 121 tanks that he has played. T-57 Heavy. All of his info can be studied. But now then the top tier information is pulled in here. Now, you don't want to have to go through 86 names and click the tank button and go through that process over and over. So here we have an update clan tanks, and it'll cycle through all the players currently on the roster, 86. And it comes back pretty quick. It takes anywhere from, well, if there's only a handful of people in the clan, it's real fast, but on average about a minute and a half to pull them in. And the idea behind this is so that callers and officers could see all of the tanks available to them from their clan members. Going into clan wars, this would be helpful. And then you can devise a strategy and a tank composition and know which players to go to fill out your goal. In the future, hopefully we can tie in some TeamSpeak information or in-game clan channel information to show what players are actually online, and then you could restrict everything with the available tanks to people that are actually online. And it's cooking a little slower here. I've got some other things going on, hitting the bandwidth. But as soon as this finishes, then we'll be able to study all of the tanks in the clan in various ways. So now it gives us the ARM tank list, 8,714 tanks out of those players. Right now it's showing that the most battles of anybody has been played by Drybush, 5,100 battles, and an M4 Sherman, quite a bit. Let's resort this by top tier, the number of battles. With any of this, it can be dumped off into spreadsheets. You can also restrict it. Instead of showing every tank they've got, let's just look at the tier 10s. We're doing a clan war, and we don't want to go in with anything less. So, out of those 8,000 some odd tanks, there's only 191 10s available. And many of those are going to be repeated. If you're looking for a specific tank, you could set either do a find and search for it specifically, or find one and then select it, and it'll show you everybody that has that particular tank. Shows you the number of battles they played, what the win rate in it is, and so if several of these guys are online and only need 2 bat chats, well, I'll tend to go with the guys with the best win rates. And obviously that can be useful for your guys putting together strats. At any rate, then in addition to the way you can save multiple players, you can also save multiple clans. So if you're part of a multi-clan system, which in this case ARM is part of Reddit, I'm going to go pull in all of the Reddit clans, save them all at once. Now this one, there's only one member in there. I'm not really interested in that, so I'm going to uncheck that and hit go to remove him. Now there's a few others that don't start with RDDT. Reddit 2 is unique in that manner, well, in their spelling. We also have Snoo and Narwhal. Save that. And there's a new one, TLDR, but just for demonstration I'm going to search for it by their clan name and not their tag. And that would be the Knights of New. I'm just going to say Knights of. And I get all of the clans that start with the Knights of, and here's TLDR, the Knights of New. So I want to save that one, clear this, and now I've got all of the Reddit clans, see who the commanders are and what their current roster count is. So Reddit Prime, if I want to look at their current members, sorts it again by officer position. There's no tank information because I haven't looked them up. I could hit the update clan tanks and it would do a search on their 100 members. And since they're veterans playing for a long time, they're going to have a lot of tanks each, most likely, that they've ever played, and so that'll take way too long. But we'll do one or two. We'll look at the commander, Damian Jax. He's showing 127 different tanks he's seen in the game. Got quite a few heavies, good stats, and all of that is searchable like we've seen before. We'll do one more. And there's Hellish Yoda. So as you can see, then back on the top tier info, it only accumulates just the top tier they have. So if all they've got is an 8, it's going to show tier 8 in this column as the top tier. It shows you the number of those that they've seen and how many battles total. So out of 16 10s, Hellish Yoda's played 1,650 battles of those 16 tanks combined. And the win rates of each individual tank is averaged together for 58% win rate. So at any rate, that could be helpful. Also, you have battle maps where you can see each map in the game really quickly. It shows you where the spawn points are, what the A and B side are. When you know that going into a clan war battle, you can restrict it by map type. Standard maps, the assault maps, the encounter maps, and All of these were created before the 8.11 update, so some of the new maps aren't in there yet, but we'll fix that. In the future, there'll be additional links that will take you to strat maps that have, strats saved as JPEGs, or possibly links to a map tactics site with this specific map in mind. The global map provinces is a list of all of the provinces on the North American server. Shows you what the battle map for each province is, whether it's a regular province or a landing province, what the daily income is, when the prime time for that particular province is, and currently just shows the number of borders, ways into it or ways to be attacked from. It doesn't actually know what the adjacent provinces are currently, but in the future we'll get that implemented. There's also a link here. If you click, it'll open your web browser and take you to the global map in the World of Tanks positioned on that particular province. In this case, it would be Nome, Alaska. But this could be useful if you're searching for landings. You're not on the map already, and so you want to find a place where you can land. So put it in the type field, type landing, and so I can see Wade Hampton, Alaska is a landing zone. It's on the Fjords map. I click here again and hit selections. Now I can see there's 50 landing zones on the North American map. Another approach could be if your clan has a great strat for a particular map. Let's say you're really good at the Abbey map. We'll find an example of the Abbey map. There's one on Coronado National Forest Province. Click in here again and restrict it to just the Abbey maps, and I can see there's a total of 6 provinces that use Abbey as their battle map. So that might give you a place to concentrate on where you want to go if you've got particularly good stats on certain battle maps. The last feature is a simple tank encyclopedia sorted by nation and then by tier and then by type. Shows you whether it's a premium tank or not. And this information is pretty static, but whenever there's updates, you can click the refresh button and it'll go out and retrieve a new list of tanks in the game. Currently there's 342 tanks in the game, and this table is basically needed to show you the tank names and tiers and whatnot in the rest of the database. There's a lot of possibilities to expand this in the future. If anybody has any questions or suggestions or interests, feel free to look me up. WoT Baron, currently in Orem. Thanks.